Hey, greetings once again. Beverly here, the global caregiver. I consider this Caregiver Central. This is a forum created by a caregiver, about caregivers and for caregivers, and the entire community that we serve. How do I know this? I am Beverly and I am a caregiver, proud caregiver. There are just a few myths and misconceptions and assumptions that are sometimes thrown around. But today, I just want to take a moment of your time to welcome you. If this is the first time you've visited my channel, I am delighted. YouTube is my new venture. I've been a blogger. I'm a mom and grandmother. World traveler. Traveling was one of my ultimate passions. However, after 28-year stellar career in the medical, mental health, forensic fields, I feel compelled, I feel uniquely qualified to speak on caregivers and caregiving. Caregivers are my passion, but my service, commitment, support, respect, recognition are towards caregivers. Most caregivers are unsung heroes. Do you know a caregiver? Salute them. Buy them a cup of coffee. Invite them for a lunch. Let's have a conversation. Have you heard this question? Are you a caregiver? But aren't you a nurse though? What would make you want to be a caregiver? One of the most profound and ultimate display of caring for another is to be a caregiver. And as we speak, 47 million people worldwide have Alzheimer's disease. There are a million other medical, psychological, developmental disability challenges that society already face. So it just seems to me that caregivers are in high demand. And if 47 million people worldwide have Alzheimer's disease, and every 4 seconds, there's a new diagnosis of dementia occurring somewhere in the globe. Don't you think we need to pay more attention to those people we call caregivers? I'm not going to spend a lot of time today differentiating between a family caregiver and a paid professional caregivers. There is a bevy, there is an amazing amount of literature, periodicals, communiques on and off the internet about family caregivers. I'm here to tell you, it is time for us to recognize and support family caregivers. There are a million other immigrant caregivers in this country, which we're going to talk about in a future blog. We're going to talk about caregivers in the South, Appalachia. It's not a new phenomenon. These people are just leery about caregiving because they don't really know who caregivers are or what their job entails. I'm here to tell you, I have formed some of the most profound, lasting, and sacred relationships with caregiver families. I've had the pleasure and honor of meeting, knowing, and serving. And I was the one that walked away feeling so enthused, so amazed, blessed. I'll use the word blessed. So let's dispel a few myths right now. Caregivers want to talk about their careers. Caregivers own their profession. They want to tell the world what they do and who they do it with and for, and how they do it. Caregivers come from all genres of life and educational backgrounds. I've met architects, lawyers who chose, they no longer had a passion working, doing law. They ended up as caregivers. And I'm thinking, we want to make sure people know what they're getting into. I'm sure you've heard caregiving is an extremely stressful profession. So, at the same time, this may sound like doublespeak. It is also one of the most rewarding and dynamic relationships you're going to ever experience in the walk of your, during the course of your lifetime. So join me here. I am Beverly. I felt compelled after a 28-year stellar career. I'm sure I mentioned this before. I've traveled widely throughout Europe, Africa, North Africa, and I have a knack for connecting with people because I am curious how people are living on the other side of the pond. Just don't want to know how things are done here. I know, I live here in the US. So, as I travel the next year or so, we want to go to the mountains of Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, perhaps Helsinki, Finland, Iceland, where the quality of life is pretty high. Cost of living is expensive, but the quality of life for most Icelandic citizens are on the par of us here in the US, even though everyone in America is not living the best life right now. I live in San Francisco, and step outside my door and you would see a large population of our citizens, for one reason or another, are homeless, mentally ill, sleeping in front of our doors. We can't walk out the door sometimes. To be a good caregiver, you're going to need intense psychological, physical, and mental screening, and follow up years after as you continue in this profession. We need you. The world needs caregivers. Caregivers, if you are a caregiver right now, you rock. You rock. You are the glue that keeps circles of care intact. By the time I continue with this, I tend to ramble a bit. Listen, no one remains in a hospital anymore. Even some major surgeries. Once you become stable, you're out of ICU or wherever you are in a hospital, you go into what we call a step down, which means you're beginning to improve. In the background, there are social workers and family members and discharge planners busy looking for a good, experienced, and competent caregiver, because you're going home to recuperate. Isn't that where most of us want to live and sometimes pass on to the other world? But we want to do this at home, in familiar surroundings amongst our pets. My pet, your plants, your neighbors, nosy or otherwise. That's what we all want to do. If you know a caregiver, may not be in San Francisco, anywhere in the world, join me. Reach out to me, and I'd love to hear your stories. I'd love to hear your 5-year goals. Tell me how you became a caregiver. I know many family members have become caregivers by proxy. They had to take care of a loved one, whether it was in their 5-year plan or not. And there are those of us who choose to become professional caregivers because we know that we are in high demand. Another goal from the Global Caregiver Forum is that with my seminars and joining caregiver appreciation events, I attempt to raise the bar in caregiver confidence and training, because I now believe that it is no longer okay just to complete a training program, or even if you went to the best caregiver training school. You need more today. Caregiver needs moxie. You need some pizzazz. Well, I know I'm overflowing with that, don't I? You're going to need some better and more improved communication skills, more active listening skills, better eye contact, and by all means, present yourself. You don't need to go out there and shop at Macy's or any store to impress anybody, but please present yourself clean and well-dressed to go into a client's home. If you see me around San Francisco with my dog, Nellie, he travels to Europe with me from time to time. Say hi to us. Today, I'm sending out blessings, love, respect, and salute to caregivers from Helsinki, Finland, Nairobi, Kenya, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Rio de Janeiro, wherever you are. Say hi to me, www.theglobalcaregiver.com, YouTube, The Global Caregiver Forum, and check me out on Facebook. Give me a like. Can you imagine? A mother and grandmother And my grandchildren thought this was hilarious. Granny, I'm going to give you a like on Facebook. No more said. I hope we get to have these dialogues. You bear with me as I get more comfortable on this YouTube platform, and I know I'll be hearing good things about you, and I'll see more likes and subscribers. I appreciate your support. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again shortly. Beverly, signing off.